the 800 FICO Club. Wow, that is a very exclusive club. Do you want to be part of this club? Then you really need to watch this. It took me years to get here. It took me actually over 10 years to get to this perfect 800 FICO, the holy grail, the perfect, amazing FICO. Does it matter? Does it really matter to have an 800 FICO? And why exactly it took me so long to get here? What was preventing me from getting to this ideal 800 FICO? I always wanted to make this video. Well, it's the 800 FICO Club, the holy grail.
It's more beautiful than I'd ever imagined.
The perfect credit score. Why does it matter? And does it really matter? Having a 790 FICO or 780 FICO, is there a big difference between 780 and 800? Not really. That is the truth. So if you were thinking that by getting to 800, you're going to get something different besides bragging rights, which is what I'm doing here, 800, not really. However, having a high credit score is really important. Why? Because it's gonna put money in your pocket. It's gonna save you money. For example, if you and I walk into the same car dealership, let's go, together we go to BMW and we wanna buy that car, that dream car that you always wanted. You and I go. Well, I will be paying less money for that same car. So you and I, if you don't have a high credit score, you are going to pay more money than me for the same car.
What? What the fuck?
If you and I want to buy the same house, and this I know, this hits home, this is my business, real estate. We go into a Sunday, we're walking, we see this house and we both go together into this property and we call our real estate agent and our mortgage broker and say, I want to buy this house. If I have a high credit score and you don't, I am going to be saving a ton of money for the next 30 years in my house, in this house. So I assure you, having a high credit score will change your life. It changed mine. The moment I crossed that 750 mark, that threshold, things changed for me. And the reason that I got to where I got, that I have the real estate that I have, the properties that I bought, the cars that I drive, the things that I actually be able to buy, is because of my credit score. It's because I really focus, laser focus on my credit life so I could get here. Having that perfect credit score, having that high credit score is going to allow you to have credit cards. Not any credit card, the best credit cards out there. And actually watch my other video about the best credit cards out there. Why? Because you want to have that American Express Platinum. Yes, you do. Because you want to have that Chase Rewards card. Yes, you do. Because you want to have that Venture X card. Yes, you do. And I'll tell you why in that video. Because it is great, because they have amazing perks, because you can fly first class, because you could do a lounge while you wait for your plane to get when you're in the airport. All those things you achieve by having a high credit score, so you could apply for those cards, so you can get them. You want to have that amazing car? Yes, you do. You want to have that car. You want to have that house. You want to have those things. Okay, remember when you were a kid and you were in school, you got graded, right? You math and biology and physics and algebra. Well, if you were a good student, you get an A plus, B plus, whatever. This is how adults get graded. If you are a responsible adult, financially speaking, and do your homework, this is how you get rewarded. You get a high FICO score. And with that, you get the rewards. You get to reap the benefits of having an A plus, a B plus on your credit score. So this is how it works, whether we like it or not. That's how we get graded. So I want you to imagine a pie, the American pie. This is the American pie. Each slice, this is your overall FICO score. Each slice is worth a certain percent. This one, the first slice, is worth 35% of your overall FICO score. 35% is slice number one, your on-time payments. So you want more credit cards, more lines of credit open, and you want to make sure that you pay those on time. So rule here is you do not miss a payment. Never, ever be late on your payments, because the credit gods will punish you and will punish you hard.
Brother, it is time for the mortals to pay.
One of my tips, and I'm gonna try to give you tips as we move along on the different slices of the American pie, is set up automatic payments. And always make sure that you make that payment every month. And I'm gonna talk about this in detail in a moment. When you should be paying this. Should you wait for the date, the due date or the closing statement? All that matters. Do it so it doesn't become a liability for you. Slice 2 of the American pie. Slice 2 is credit utilization. You want more credit cards, more lines of credit, and you want to use them very little. Stay with me. What you want is actually never use more than 10 to 20% of your credit limit. For example, you have a credit card that gives you $10,000 in credit limit. I have right now about $100,000 in credit card limits. When I look at my cards, that's what I have. Actually, a little more than that. But that means that I have all this muscle to spend, but I only spend about 10 to 20% max every month. And above all, I pay it in full every single month. I don't carry a balance. And you might be thinking, well, what's the point of having a credit card? Well, I think you're missing the point. The point here is that you don't use credit cards to buy things that you cannot afford. If you use it smartly, if you use it wisely, will open doors for you. If you want to buy a pair of shoes, an iPhone, or a watch, save for it. Don't use your credit card and pay in installments, because that's going to hurt you. You want to use that credit card to open other options for credit in your life. So you need multiple cards. You need multiple avenues of credit. You want to buy a house, you want to buy a car. Do not buy a fancy car, an expensive car, before you actually buy a house. You have no idea how many people I've met in my business that come into our office and they want to buy a house, and they're driving a Mercedes out there and they cannot get qualified for a house because they've been driving that fancy car and they owe a ton of money on it. If you get anything from this video, at least take that. Don't do that, because it will hurt you. So 10,000, only use 1,000, and max 2,000, 20% of the max amount that you actually have to spend, and pay him in full every month. Actually, pay him before the closing statement. When you look at your card statement, you're gonna have two dates, and it gets confusing sometimes. You have due date and you have the closing statement date. I always pay my cards on the closing statement date. I don't wait for the due date, because after the closing statement date, the credit cards will report your balance to the credit gods, and they will say, oh, you are spending too much money there. So that your FICO will suffer. If you want to be part of the 800 club, you need more cards, more credit lines, and you need to make the payments on time, always before the closing date, not the due date. All right, slice 3 of the overall American pie. This is the length of your credit history, and is worth 15%. 15% only. This one is a little tricky. Every time that you open a credit card, it affects your average. Meaning, for example, I opened my first credit card maybe 20 years ago. So you will think my length of history should be 20 years. It is not. It is about 4 to 5 years on average. Why? Because I open credit cards, like every 3 to 6 months, because I play a particular game. I open credit cards that I want, that are hard to get. You need high FICOs for that. You need high credit scores for that. All those cards give you sign-up bonuses, and I want those bonuses. This is something that I do personally. It allows me to travel, allows me to go first class to Europe, allows me to get all those benefits that I want. The important thing here is that you want to open cards. You need them, but you're gonna be punished every time you do, because your average will go lower. So if you're really trying to get to that high score, don't open so many cards so often, because it will hurt you. That was one of the things that was preventing me from getting to the 800 club, is because I open cards often that was not letting me pass through that 800 mark. So I finally did it because I didn't open cards for about 6 months, and that changed that score for me. It took me from that 790 that I was floating for the longest time to that 800 FICO. It's not gonna stay there for too long because I'm gonna open new cards to get those bonuses. So that's gonna probably bring me down to that 780, 790 FICO, which is great. I still get the best rates out there with that FICO. I'm still able to go to a dealership and get the best interest rate to buy a car. Or if I wanna buy a property, I probably get the best interest rate available at that time because of my credit history. Slice 4 of your American pie, the amount of credit lines that you have. Remember what I told you, that you want more credit cards, that you want more credit lines? This is it. So you wanna have those credit lines open. And this is worth 10% of your overall pie. So the more credit cards that you have, the more lines of credit that you have open, the better. And this is going to score 10% of your overall pie. And you wanna have more credit cards, you wanna have more lines of credits open, you wanna have that house, you wanna have that car, you wanna have those credit cards always paid in full, like we spoke before, but you wanna have those. And that's, the gods are gonna look at how many cards you have, how many lines of credit you have open, and they're gonna score you on that 10% of your overall pie. Well, the irony is that the more money that you ask, the more concerned the gods are going to be. They might be thinking, this guy is gonna go into a shopping spree or spending spree.
Release the Kraken!
So there is a fine line there, and that's the tricky part. The good thing is this is only worth 10%. So be smart. When you actually don't need the money, apply for those cards. Ask for those increases on your current credit card, so you get more, more muscle, more cards when you don't need the money. If you need the money, actually the gods will know and they will not give it to you. Final slice of your pie is this. It is your inquiries, total inquiries, and it's worth 10% of your overall pie. Well, unfortunately, this is unavoidable because you need credit. You need to ask for money. You need to run your credit. And actually, people get a lot of concern over this. When they want to buy a house, they always super concerned about, oh, I don't want to run my credit because it's gonna get lower. It's not gonna get lower because you run your credit. It's gonna get lower because runs your credit, you open another line of credit because other things that actually affect you overall in the pie. When you think about this is only 10% worth of your pie. And the good thing, and another tip that you might not know here, is that every time that you run your credit when you're buying a house, those actually get grouped together. They don't hurt you as much. So people think that when they run their credit because they want to buy a house with one lender and maybe another lender here and here, it's going to hurt you. Not really, not much. The gods see it as, okay, he's shopping for a mortgage and he's looking for the best rate, and they actually get grouped together and they don't hurt as much. So be smart, be selective. Only open credit cards that you really want, that actually are a key for you. So if you go and open a card that costs you $95 a year, doesn't give you any benefits, then what's the point? But for example, if you open an American Express Platinum, yes, it has actually a higher yearly fee, but it gives you certain things. It gives you bonuses, it gives you miles, gives you things that might be important to you. I don't know. Shop around. Make sure that you get the best interest rate possible. When you're gonna go and buy a car after you buy a house, then be selective. Make sure that you run your credit smartly, so those inquiries don't hit you as hard as they are intended to do, okay? So that's slice 5 of the pie. Okay, so the 800 FICO club, does it matter? Not really. The difference between a 790 FICO and an 800 FICO, it's not a big deal. What I wanted in this video was for you to take this. You have to be financially savvy. You need to become financially savvy in order to get that success that you're craving for. You need to be able to play the credit score game. It is what it is. You need to make smart decisions about your credit, smart decisions about the way you handle credit, the way you spend your money, the way you use those credit cards, because it matters, because it will get you there. There's no point in the 800 FICO club, but there is a big point on getting to that 750 mark, getting to that past that 700 FICO mark, because it will change your life. And lastly, this is going to keep money in your pocket. So the higher your credit score, the more money that you're gonna make, the more money that you're gonna save, okay? So if you found any value whatsoever, if you think that anything that we said here is important, subscribe. If you like our videos, subscribe, give us a like, watch our other videos. We really want to connect, create a community here, and we need your help. We need your likes, we need your subscriptions, because it will help us with YouTube, with the YouTube gods out there, and it will help us rank better, appear more, and hopefully continue doing this. So don't forget to subscribe, to like, and comment. I want to hear those comments. I want to see those comments and see if what we're doing here is actually worth your time. Thank you. We'll see you in the next one.